stop using weed and feeds. So in this video, we are going to talk about Turf Builder, which is a popular weed and feed from Scott's. Nothing against Scott's, but they're going to be the example for this. This applies to really any brand, but the specific example we're pulling numbers from is Scott's Turf Builder from Home Depot. It's a 2803. The one thing I don't like about weed and feeds, and we're going to get into a number of things, but they hide the NPK ratio. When they're hiding the NPK ratio, you just know that it's not going to stack up very well in the numbers. But let's keep going. Let's get into this. So we're going to compare. So weed and feed. What is weed and feed? First of all, it's a herbicide. It's a post-emergent. Generally doesn't have any pre-emergent in it. It is a post-emergent mixed with a fertilizer. And so I have two big box stores. I'm not even going with specialized stores where you can get things even cheaper than this. This is just apples to apples. By going to different aisles or different parts of the same store, you can get some better options. So again, we got Turf Builder 2803. It's 28% nitrogen, 0 phosphorus. 0 phosphorus is great, and 3% potassium, not as great. But that's not the point here. The point here is to get nitrogen down, midsummer, knock out some weeds, make the lawn look a little bit more green. So in Turf Builder in a bag, the number or the size that I used is the larger one, and they have like a 10-pound version as well. But I use the 34-pound here. Just to hopefully, as you generally buy a bigger product, you get better value, hoping that it'll be more competitive with the other options. They label it 12,000 square feet is what it's for. But you'll see that these numbers are not actually correct because they're actually stretching it. So $65 is the price on that. You get basically just shy of 10 pounds of nitrogen on that. On the math on that, it's so you take 65 divided by 9.5, you're getting about $6.84 per 1 pound of pure nitrogen. So that's on the Turf Builder. Now we break it down into two individual products. We got Weed Stop, that's from Spectracide. You get the $10 bottle, it's 40 ounces. It ranges based on the rate you apply, but 6,000 to 20,000 is basically the kind of the range they put on the Home Depot product page website. And that 12,000 square feet is within that range. So kind of apples to apples there, just shy of $10. You need to buy a pump sprayer if you don't have one. So that basically double this because a pump sprayer is about $10. So you're about $20 to knock out weeds. You're gonna get a much more effective result, right? Because this over here is a granular, and it's not a granular you dissolve in water. You spread a granular. And so those little specks of herbicide need to land on the leaf. And the odds of that, standing over a lawn, like you have to have a lot of weeds to get good results from a weed and feed. Because if you have, half lawn, half weeds, like you really need to get those little specks, not the fertilizer specks, but the post-emergent specks on the leaf, which is going to be tricky. Over here, when you're dissolving a liquid into water and you spray that, the little droplets of water, they mist all over everything, and it selectively kills the weeds, and then it dries in the weed. Like you're gonna get so much better results from literally the cheapest liquid herbicide in Home Depot. I don't know if there's anything cheaper than $9. Maybe there's a $6 one, but even the $6 one, you're gonna get better results than this. So again, 40 ounces, we cover the square feet, and the price is $10. But it's actually $20 because you got to buy a pump sprayer. You can buy like a $15 version that comes with a little sprayer you can do. But if you do the $10 one, first of all, you can reuse the sprayer. So you have that sprayer for the future, and you can use it for anything after. I use it to degrease metal when I do welding projects. I wash it out and then put Simple Green in it, and then I can you can spray it on anything. Spray it on your brick on your house. You can use it to acid wash things. I mean, having a little $10 sprayer, and wash it out every time, but having a $10 sprayer around is a benefit to more than just lawn care. So good investment to make. But like I said, you can do it for $20, or you can do the $15 one where they have the little nozzle one where you're squeezing that little nozzle, but you have to hit the weed. Like it doesn't, with the pump sprayer, you can just spray the whole lawn and selectively kill the weeds. The herbicide does a selection for you, but with the little spray nozzle one that they sell you kind of are walking on the lawn spraying the weeds. You're not gonna squeeze that trigger 10,000 times to do it all over the lawn. It's just it's not ideal. So I recommend the cheaper version, the concentrate. Mix it yourself in a 1 gallon or 4 gallon or 2 gallon pump sprayer. Now, So that's the weed part of weed and feed. Now on the feed side of weed and feed, this is a really, really good option if you have Bermuda grass. It's a good option for a number of different grasses, but on this channel, we largely talk about Bermuda grass here in Texas. Ammonium sulfate is 20 nitrogen, 0 phosphorus, 0 potassium. Sometimes it's actually more commonly 2100. But this specific brand, and this one I think was from Lowe's, but Home Depot sometimes has it as well, is 2000. Now it's 40-pound bag. It's a massive bag, lasts a long time. They label it for 10,500 square feet. The price on that, $25, 8 pounds of nitrogen. So when you take 20% of 40 pounds, it's 8 pounds. That's how you get this number here, of course. Run the math on that. This divided by this is $3. So these rates, 12,000 and 10,000, they're not actually, this is stretched a little bit, and I'm sure this is stretched a little bit too. But basically, this is what really matters. Per pound of nitrogen is actually what's going to determine your square footage rate. Except this has to be limited because there's a post-emergent as well. So you can't go heavy and push green growth like you can with this, because you're limited by the herbicide, the post-emergent. And so you can't just like go super heavy, because you're going to exceed the limit on the post-emergent, and you're going to have yellowing grass and whatnot. Whereas with this combination over here, for less money, again, we're spending less money and getting better results. Both. Usually you spend more money and get better results. This is less money, better results. You can go super heavy on the fertilizer, go to the proper rate on the herbicide, kill all the weeds, have a super green lawn. And again, this is $25. So 25 plus 10 is 35 if you have a pump sprayer. If you don't have a pump sprayer, you're in this for $45. You're still coming out cheaper than a $65 weed and feed. Both of this and this are both granular, so you'll need a little broadcast spreader. I use the handheld one because I live in town in the suburbs. If you're on a massive lawn and you're buying multiple bags of fertilizer or weed and feed, then of course you're gonna maybe want one that you can push around the lawn. When it comes to nitrogen applications on Bermuda grass, I like to do 1 pound of pure nitrogen per 1,000 square feet per month. And you can stretch that to every 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and you can do less than half. And, you can do even a little bit more. But generally, if you're really trying to push a green lawn, 1 pound of nitrogen per month per 1,000 square feet. You don't need any phosphorus. Potassium's okay. Neither of these fertilizers have enough potassium, and you want that for disease resistance, but that doesn't mean you need it from these fertilizers. Generally, you would buy a separate fertilizer. Usually in the fall, you apply potassium that would kind of supplement with this. So it's not like these fertilizers are bad. This is actually, these ratios are actually fantastic on both of them. This ratio is good. This ratio is good as well. But for the spring and midsummer, you're generally just going to want heavy nitrogen. And then come fall time, you'll start looking at that potassium. So the ammonium sulfate over here, that's what this is, ammonium sulfate. You can get urea as well, which is a 4600, different option, different video. You get 8 pounds of nitrogen. So I would apply 8 pounds of nitrogen over 8,000 square feet. So they label it for 10.5. I would call it 8,000. Over here with a 9.5, I would label this one for 9,500. So instead of 12, the actual number, wrote it in there, 9,500, and over here, 8,000. One thing to call it with ammonium sulfate 2000 or 2100 is that it actually lowers the pH. So if you're in DFW like I am, you're in North Texas, or any area that has high pH, ammonium sulfate will actually lower that pH. And when you have lower pH, you get better uptake of your fertilizer. So I really recommend ammonium sulfate. Again, urea is another option. There's other fertilizer options if you don't have high pH. But for folks that are in North Texas, I mean, this is just the way to go. There's just no way about it. There's just too many advantages to doing this over this. People love to say to justify going with this weed and feed. And like I said, any weed and feed, this is not particular to brands. They're all like this. But people love to say, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. We already talked about the money. We went through that. But the time, you're talking one extra pass. If you live in town like I do, live in the suburbs, I got like 3,500 square feet of lawn or so. You're doing one pass with this, it takes 5 minutes. You do one pass with this, it takes 5 minutes. You do one pass with this, 5 minutes. You got 10 minutes combined here. You got 5 minutes over here. It's not that much extra. If you can spare 5 minutes to go this route to save $30, so you're valuing your time at over $360 per hour, you shouldn't be doing any of this, and you should hire a lawn guy. In Dallas-Fort Worth, I recommend Kelly Green. I know a few people that use that with great results. But if you value your time at less than $360 per hour and 5 minutes extra is worth saving $30, then go ahead and go this route. It's a shock that people buy this for $65.